Dynamics, articulation, and tempo. Day 5 of the Paganini situation here. Thought I'd take a second to think about interpretation. When we're learning a piece of music, it's not unlike doing a puzzle or something. So you have a lot of options. When I do a puzzle, I put together the edge pieces first, and then the rest is depending on the puzzle. You know, the ones with the big white sky. That's a nightmare. You try to. I'm a procrastinator, so I keep that till the end, I guess. But it's not unlike practicing, where you can say, okay, doing a puzzle where you just look for each piece right next to one another, right? So I have this corner piece. Now I'm going to go through all the pieces and try to find the one that goes next to that. Would be like saying, okay, I'm going to play the first note, and now I'm going to do the second note, or whichever note you start with is, then you only do the ones around that. That is one way to do it. I don't know, the way I gravitate towards everything is not in a, what do you call that, linear fashion, but whatever, I could look this up. That's a good word to learn. Whatever is not linear. So I might start at the end and then find a passage that's really easy. It makes me feel like, oh, I can play this. That's great. And then I'll play that over and over and feel really good about it. And meanwhile, the passage that's really not easy at all is just sitting there, nothing, no progress on that. And then that's when the depression kicks in. You're like, well, I can play this, but I can't even play this music, or that voice. So anyway, while I'm in the middle of trying to hack away at the edge pieces and just play through this thing, I'm gonna also go for the inside here and think about interpretation. And how do I do that? Well, I could think, oh, I'm a genius, so I'll just come up with whatever I think sounds good. And ultimately, that's what's going to happen. But how do we inform those decisions? It's not, nobody's a genius. You do it based on your experience and how you've probably been told things sound good when you were a child. When you're like, A, B, C, D. And yes, that sounds so great. And you're like, oh, I like A, B, C. And nobody sings like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, except for the second Viennese folks, and that's what we know what happened to them. So let's take, I like to use transcribe exclamation mark as a program to slow down, make me, because I can't hear the nuance of what's going on a lot of the time. Maybe I'm not supposed to. Maybe the affect of this music is to just blow you away and make you think, oh my goodness, what is happening? But if we slow things down, we're going to here's Perlman. Okay, and here's Perlman at, I'm going to push this over here, let's slow it 50%. So right off the bat, you don't hear the first note. It tells me something happened in the editing process of this. Maybe it's the recording, or maybe it was the recording that I have, or the recording that he made. Something got chopped. Do you hear that? So we missed that ticket. I'm not here to call anybody out on wrong notes, but it is comforting knowing when you get to that speed, it's just the effect of having not we're not perceiving every single note. One more time, I'm going to slow that down a little more. Instead of he plays da 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 da. Kind of misses that fourth note. Woohoo! Anyway, this is also a ricochet exercise, so a lot of it is depending on the gravity of the bow. It's the same with the mallets, though. No excuses. It's come on. Okay, dynamics, articulation, and tempo. Basically, that's maybe there's more. Those are the three things. Is he playing the same tempo, faster or slower? The rhythm in the same tempo, changing the tempo, or is each note clear or slurred, or changing the timbre of that note? Sometimes you can do different effects on different instruments. And and then the dynamics. That's probably the most obvious. Is it the same, different? So we could call an accent variation in dynamic or variation in articulation. I don't know. That's probably a conversation for another time. But I'm listening for dynamics. And so call me crazy here, but even back at the amazing performance tempo. So I hear sort of this pulsed, right? It makes sense. That's the fancy string talk for that is a down bow.
This.
That's what. Okay. Okay. Great. Let's go to I think the fastest recording, because that's what matters when we're doing this, is Shlomo Mintz here. Again, not a ton of variation and dynamics, but there is this longer note here. Right? One. That's the dominant, and that's the largest intervallic leap, we'll say. Right? So maybe he's giving time. I don't know. That recording clocks in at like 1 minute and 35 seconds, which is, most people play this at 2 minutes. That's because the double stops when we get there are just ungodly fast. Okay, here's Janusz Worawski. I'm butchering that one. I guess it's Polish. So far, this is the one with the most variation in dynamics, in tempo, in articulation. Whether that's good or bad, let's leave that. But here we go. Same. So that's the first and second part of that phrase are it's just a repeat. So that's just a terrace dynamic thing. And then the rest is kind of off to the races. Let me check out one more case of the problem of looking at recordings because they're just one finite session. But here's an example of Elliot Fisk, guitarist who changed the world with this recording from 1993. Let's check this out. Dynamics. Forte piano. It may be taking a brief second because I'm playing in the kitchen. The sound isn't lasting very long, but that's a lot of sound that in any sort of larger space we'll need to let pass. So now I'm losing this. I don't know if that's a guitarism. Perlman does that too, I think. Somebody else does that. No, this guy. Antal Zalat. Right? Right, they kind of skip that arpeggio. That's fine. Right. that's that timbral change. Beautiful. Here's same player 7 years later. No dynamic change. Let's slow this down to hear what's actually going on in the rhythm. Elliot Fisk here. So he's using some sort of pattern that's not even. But the studio recording was quite a bit cleaner. I mean, big surprise. So, what's the takeaway from that is what are we listening to? We don't know. Somebody's particular interpretation on a certain day could be very different from the same very person another day. And for that reason, we can actually go... I've been printing out different copies of the music and making notes of different dynamic things people do, different things people do at the time, all that. Woohoo! Super geeking out on this. Who cares? I care. That's the main thing. I care a lot, otherwise I won't be doing this. What don't I care about is shoveling the snow. There's no snow, so I'm happy.